What cologne do you wear, Nick? What is your cologne of choice, if you wear one, in fact?
I do. JV-NJ
Oh, he's
collaboration.
a drop his own cologne. I knew that was coming.
Oh, you're getting one straight away. Oh my God, that's so epic! Straight in with the brand,
true,
equity.
though.
No, it is true. Of course. Why would you not wear
That's
the
why
thing
it
you
smells
designed?
so good.
Of course. Do you wear your brother's smell? Or-
When in need, and he has
But
bottles
you
everywhere.
love the way it smells.
It smells great. I wear Jazz Club Margiela.
Oh, I love that. All those words in a row just sound great before you even put it on.
My
Jazz
nickname
Club and Margiela.
And that was my nickname in high school too.
Jazz Club.
Jazz Club Margiela.
Jazz Club. No, the Margiela part became later. It was just Jazz Club to start with. You had to earn Margiela. What about you, Kate?
YSL.
Oh,
yeah.
see, keeping it nice and classic.
Yeah, it's just.
What about you?
I'm wearing my wife's Gucci right now because I love it.
Wonderful.
Nice.
So what's going on, gentlemen? It's great to finally meet you as a group, you know?
Yeah, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
I guess in a weird way now you must be feeling like it's that kind of honeymoon period of everyone freaking out has kind of settled into a new era to some degree.
Feels a little settled. It's still chaotic. We're running around promoting a bunch of stuff, but it feels so nice to be able to, like you said, have the dust settle a bit and feels right.
Kevin, I mean, for someone like yourself who deliberately decided you need a break, but probably in part because this whole chaos, the energy of that, had you missed a little bit of that excitement?
Oh, for sure. You know, I definitely needed to come out of retirement, but it's also something I'm still getting used to. Like,
Yeah.
you know, as much as we're traveling, as much as we're doing.
Because it's not normal.
Luckily, no, it's not. It's definitely not a thing.
It's not.
It's not.
And we don't like normal. You know, we like things to be a little hectic, a little crazy.
Yeah.
Doc and the record,
Yeah.
the fact that it's all happening the same week is kind of a nice thing as well, because we can just label it the week of happiness.
The week of happiness. I like that. It's good. That sounds like a cologne.
Oh.
Deep. The music you've come back with shows, you know, a real sort of progression, I think, musically and you know, in terms of the maturity you guys have been through since the last project. It must have been important to you that when you came out with a song like Sucker, it had the playfulness and it had the kind of craft that you're known for, but it didn't feel like anything you'd done before. It must have been kind of challenging to get to that point too.
Well, I think that was, you know, the big task at hand when we stepped back in was how do we take the things that we're really proud of about our individual work, Joe with DNCE, me with my solo stuff, and find the common ground for the Jonas Brothers sound, and also infuse some of those classic Jonas Brothers elements, which are in-your-face drums, loud guitars.
And I can tell the energy and the excitement that you guys feel about being back together is just still an absolute kind of nth degree. And I wonder if you look back on that time away and think like, thank God we did that. Or the little moment, you just not even wait for the question straight away. Okay, but how do you feel?
I think it was really important for us to take that time away from each other. We said it recently, we were talking about it, I think, over dinner. Like most families, like siblings at least, you don't like think about growing up every single day, the same set of friends, spending in school together, on stage together. That doesn't really happen. And we need that 6 years to say, like, what's life like without you around all the time? And we grew so much individually to come back together and have all these life experiences. It only makes it better.
We see a certain amount of that kind of played out, I'm sure, in the forthcoming long form. And now that you've got the benefit of hindsight, you can put it you put a ribbon on it like that. But there must have been times when there was resentments and feelings of uncertainty about why this was happening and why because there's three, like you say, individuals all coming to different terms at different times.
Yeah, no, when it initially happened and, you know, we went our separate ways, you know, there was definitely a mourning period a little bit for the band, you know, that I went through, you know, trying to figure out who you are, and because your identity is tied to this thing for so long, especially a large part of our adolescence, you know. And
is it hard to put your feet up and relax after you've been on a treadmill like that?
Luckily, I was about to have our first child, so kind of like spent focus there and kind of like mind shift to that degree. But I think once we sat down and started going through things with, you know, the documentary and all of that, that's when things became more real, because it was the conversations we should have had in that moment that we didn't. But now there's no fear to not speak your truth.
We had a better relationship almost immediately following the breakup. It took about a month and a half, 2 months for us to refine chemistry just as family. But I think that was important. And then, you know, once we introduced that idea of actually working together again, we had some very tough conversations because we knew that we would need to. We could kind of operate as family and, you know, sweep some things under the rug for a while, but when you're thinking about being together every single day, traveling together, and you've not spoken about certain things, then it could get tough. So the objective with the documentary, which was a very clear vision. John Taylor, the director of the movie, and Phil, our manager, produced it along with us. We wanted to make something that basically after people watch it, they say, I want to call my family. I want to call my brother and my sister I haven't spoken to in a while and just lay it out. It doesn't mean that everything has to be fixed in one conversation. It may take time, but if our family is an example, like it's complicated at times, and if you can just speak about things, it might make it easier.
We've heard 2 songs now. We've heard Sucker and Cool. And I wonder if there are surprises on the album too, without giving too much away, because it's a few days away, to get people a little more excited. If there are things on there that have surprised even you over the creation of it and the making of it.
A lot of things that have been surprising. I think that the creative process as a whole was so different. Back in the day with the brothers, we used to isolate and insulate a lot. We only trusted a few collaborators, and it was basically us writing the songs along with a couple other people. This time, we spread that net a bit further. And given the solo work I'd done and Joe's work with DNCE, we have in our phone books now some of the top songwriters in the world to be able to help us and help us create that vision for what we want to make. And we trusted each other too. If one day one of us came in with an idea that we felt was worth exploring, we all sort of like gave it a shot. And in the past, whether there was sort of some spearheading going on from certain ideas, I think we were willing to say we've grown enough to let the creative process just happen in a really organic way.
Oh, Ron Burgundy. I came fully prepared. What are the chords, Kev? What do you know there?
Yeah, GFC.
GFC? Let me see if I can get back in time. GFC. I got you.
G.
Oh, yeah.
A little Oasis influence on this
I
one.
was going to say, it's got that kind of like Britpop 97 summer vibe to it.
Yeah.
How would like a Britpop song go, though, back in the day? Be like,
Wake up in the morning, go to the pub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shine.
There you go.
Is it ever enough?
yeah, we can keep going.
Should write it right now.
Let's do it.
Wake up in the morning, go to the pub while the sun shines.
Yep.
And both of us.
Nice. Kev, you got a wait here on
Love
this.
it. Yeah. This is
Yeah, it's not cutting it for me.
I don't know.
Didn't make the record.
Yeah,
I
wasn't it?
don't know about that
Well,
one.
I got a real insight into the songwriting process. I would have failed in that session.
No,
right there.
actually, all ideas are great ideas. They lead you
line-
to the better idea.
Yeah, we have this
Dare to
line that
suck.
is dare to suck, which means that throw out any idea, it might lead to the better idea.
Honestly, your lady has like just won the internet this year. Won the internet this year.
She has,
Joel, half a pint of red wine. Dab, move on next. What else?
it's amazing.
That's unbelievable.
It was pretty great.
Chugging wine in general is like that's a
feat.
skill.
That's a talent.
It's a very British talent.
Yeah.
It's a
It is
very,
yeah.
very British
Yeah.
talent. I've lived there for nearly 18 years. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
pub.
Yeah,
what-
we've gone out with her family and her friends. They know how to get down.
They're like pirates.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The best quote is I brought my buddy to the Game of Thrones premiere, and we went to the after party. He like looked at me and he's like, "They drink like pirates." They really do. It's awesome. They're
Swashbuckling.
they're real rock stars.
I sort of feel like in America, and I speak from experience, in America, you drink because you've earned it. You drink to celebrate it, something that you feel that you allow yourself to do. Whereas in the UK, you sort of drink to get by. It's kind of like
Right.
100% do it because it's just like, let's just do
Another
it.
That's part of
another
the
sunny day in
ecosystem.
London.
100%. Who's the most fun drunk in the band?
My bachelor party.
Yeah.
I cut loose a little bit, and they did, the
And
same.
I watched him.
His was
Yeah, yours was like kind of
different.
ethereal,
The
emotional.
best quote
Yeah, go
of
on.
the trip is, "No good story started with a salad." Dr. Phil told us that quote, and for real.
Hang on. First time anybody ever dropped Dr. Phil up in the studio right here, shouting, waiting for that moment. I feel like the 4 horsemen are about to mount and the world's about to come to an end.
You never know.
The Dr. Phil anecdote was the tipping point.